Scrolling through Instagram and TikTok, I often came across creators sharing their experience pursuing higher education abroad, including myself. However, the unfortunate reality is that instead of getting positive feedbacks, many of the reactions appears in the comment sections are telling those creators that they are privileged. But what are the privilege that these people often refer to? Privilege often refer to one's economic status, typically referring to individuals born into high economic levels or someone born into a wealthy family. But who are we to judge? Because the fact is that not everyone is born with privilege. None of us can choose which circumstances we are born into, which families we belong to. So from here, I cannot really say that I came from a privileged family, right? So my name is Fathia. I come from a middle-class society. My father here holds a college degree, and my mother attempted to finish her college degree. However, she never managed to finish her college, making her a high school graduate. So from here, I cannot really say that I'm born from a privileged family, right? However, I do want to highlight that we cannot make our backgrounds define who we are. Many people often say that they will never be able to pursue higher education because of their background, because they are not born with privilege, because they come from low economic backgrounds, or because their parents did not pursue higher educations. But how sad is that to think that your background defines who you are? How sad is it to think that your background can limit your future opportunities? And this is why most people are wrong. That has become a misconception nowadays that your background can define who you are. So today I will share with you 3 important things why you should pursue higher education and why education can change your life for the better. Let me recall a moment when I was 17. I participated in a high school exchange program to Madrid, Spain. And at that time, I was already wearing my hijab. I was also enrolled in a public high school in Spain. But at the end of my first day, a teacher approached me and told me to take off my hijab. It was shocking, of course, but I explained to my teacher that the hijab is my identity as a Muslim woman. But still, they did not tolerate it, and they would say to me that if I did not take it off, they would threaten me to expel me from the school. It was only my first week in Madrid, yet my rights to freedom of religion and education were taken away solely because of my hijab. Can you imagine how much frustrating that would feel to a 17-year-old girl, far away from home by herself and being threatened to get expelled from school only because of what she wore? That felt frightening to me. But can you guess what I did? How did I react? Who here thinks that I take off my hijab? You can raise your hand if you think that I took off my hijab. Who here thinks that I will go back to Indonesia? Who here thinks that I still keep wearing my hijab? Raise your hand. My 17-year-old self felt the need to fight for my rights. So I initiated a petition called Asking Fathia to Remove Her Hijab is Discrimination on Change.org. Because of social media, words spread out very quickly. Without one Without only one night, I was able to gain the support of more than 3,200 people worldwide, signing the petition and sending their picture to me of them handing the sign. If you ask me where did I get the idea to create this petition to fight for my rights, I would say education. Education not only teaches me how to read, how to write, and how to count, but education also tells me to be aware of the rights that I'm entitled to. And education also teaches me about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence here is very important because it teaches me to manage my emotion and the emotion of others. So instead of raging out of my teacher who told me to remove my hijab, I created this communal movement to explain in the best way why their action towards me is wrong. And you have to know that emotional intelligence nowadays is very crucial. Daniel Goleman, a psychologist that popularized this term, told us that the common trait that most leaders have is emotional intelligence. Goleman added that it's not that IQ or technical skills are not important, but emotional intelligence is the prerequisite requirements for leadership positions like CEO or COO. So this brings me to my second lesson about why you have to pursue education. So after completing 1 year of exchange program in Spain, I had to go back to Indonesia and finish my senior high school. At that time, all of my classmates were very ambitious to get accepted in the most privileged universities in Indonesia. Like them, I was also studying hard to get accepted into universities in Indonesia. But guess what? I got rejected at all universities in Indonesia that I applied. Of course, I was insecure about my future, especially knowing my parents could not afford me to go to private university in Indonesia. I thought maybe I need to take a gap year and try again next year. But exactly because I know I'm not born privileged, I did not want to settle for less. So I learned about resilience and growth mindset to keep fighting for my future. So a Google search leads me to find new information about opportunities to pursue higher education abroad. So then I decided to apply to universities in Japan because it offers me a tuition reduction scholarship. So then I started learning to prepare my IELTS test by myself. I wrote my application letter. I practiced my interview sessions. And finally, sometime after my rejection, I received an offer letter from Ritsumeton Asia Pacific University in Japan to study there with scholarship. But my story does not end here. In a class in my university, I came across Ikigai. It is a concept for the reason for being. This concept essentially combines what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So diving into this concept, I finally realized what my Ikigai is, what my mission of being is. I want to be an activist to ensure that every child in the world can get their rights to quality educations. And I want to do it through United Nations or the UN. Why? Because I want to create impact more than national scale. I want to create a worldwide scale impact through the United Nations. And that exactly fulfills what I love, because I love children, or what I'm good at. I'm a human rights activist, and I earned a master's degree in human rights studies. And of course, as an officer in the United Nations, I get paid because that is my job. And that answers what the world needs from me, which is someone who can ensure human rights for all. So knowing that I have big dreams and big goals, I don't only want to settle as an ordinary student in the university. So I came up with an idea to create a life mapping where I wrote down that I wanted to get a 4.0 GPA in my first semester of university. But it never happened until my third year of university. In here, I also wrote down that I wanted to take a Japanese proficiency M2 level test. Never happened until today. But that's okay, right? Because the point of creating this life mapping is to get you motivated every time you lose your motivations. And one more thing. I've always wanted to become a TEDx speaker since my second year of university. And it never happened until today. But other than that, I also started working on my missions to ensure education for all. So I built a nonprofit organization called Shape Your Life Indonesia. We help underprivileged high school students in Indonesia maximize their potential and pursue higher education through our free mentorship programs. We also raise funds to give scholarship for those who need. And in a way, what I did in building Shape Your Life is a portfolio of my life. It shows to whichever office that I'm going to apply to that I've been working on this mission already. So that is how education is very powerful, right? Because my second crucial reasons of why pursuing education is important is it teaches you how to create your life purpose. And it also teaches you to make a goal-setting skills, because it teaches me to be able to think strategically on what steps do I need to take in order to achieve my long-term goals. But to finally achieve your long-term goals and how education can finally change someone's life, there are still so many skills that are necessary for us to have in this 21st century. Those skills are critical thinking skills, communication skills, and problem-solving skills. So I thought to myself that I need to relearn those skills by pursuing a master's degree. So in my final semester of university, I decided to pursue and apply for my master's degree to sharpen those skills that I needed. So in 2022, I was accepted at New York University and Columbia University. Both located in New York, where the UN headquarters is located. I was accepted in my 8th semester, where I had not even finished my undergraduate thesis. And on top of it all, I was awarded a Fulbright scholarship from the Indonesian government. Long story short, I chose to study my master's degree in human rights at Columbia University. And in New York, realizing that I have arrived in the city of dreams, I thought that it's finally time for me to chase my dreams to work in the UN. So because I was still a student back then, I applied for an internship position in the UN in February 2023. I waited for months and months and months. I never got a call back. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I did not get the position. But while waiting for that announcement as a master's student, in Columbia University, I gained a deeper understanding about the concept of human rights, where we are forced to train our critical thinking skill, communication skills by creating so many policy recommendations in order to solve current world problems. So fast forward to June 2023, I got an email, a call for an interview as an intern in the UN. I was confused at first because I even forgot that I ever applied to that position because I applied for so many months ago. But after doing the interview, I finally got my acceptance letter to intern in the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights in New York. Wow. I'm closer to my goals. Look at how far I have come. From a public high school graduate in Fairuza to New York. But if you ask me, could I do this without education? I would say absolutely not. So to prove my last points on why you should pursue education, it is because education is a catalyst for change. It gives an opportunity to individuals from different backgrounds the chance to improve their lives, to improve their socioeconomic lives. And like me, who came from a non-privileged background, I was finally able to take a big steps forward from Fairuza to New York. And this is also because I don't want my background to define who I am. And because of education, I am now well equipped with the skills that are needed for me to find jobs in the future. So I'm telling all of you today to go ahead and take your chances. Go ahead and pursue education as high as possible and do not let your background limit your future opportunities. Do not worry about your background and just go pursue it. Because education has changed my life, and I believe education will change your life too. So although you cannot choose to which family you are born into, you have the power to change your life, to change your future. And with education, you are more, and do not let anybody tell you otherwise. Thank you.